Hi, I'm Paul Monahan, and welcome to the Most Important Game podcast. My mission is to help you lead, play, and perform at your best, no matter the stakes, no matter the circumstances. In this episode, I sit down with Todd Graves. Todd Graves is an entrepreneur. He's a golfer, a golf instructor. He and his brother Tim co-founded Graves Golf Academy in Edmond, Oklahoma, many, many years ago. Todd is one of these thinkers. He's always thinking about new things and performance in new ways. Super fun to spend some time with. Todd has a new book coming out in the next couple of months. It's called The Intelligent Golf Swing. We talk about that. We talk about the mental game of skill development and a whole bunch of other topics, many of them around this guy, Mo Norman, that Todd spent a lot of time with and who was instrumental in really framing what has been a 25, 30-year career for Todd and his brother. So super fun stuff here. Let's dive in. Okay, good to see you, Todd. Great to be with you again. It's been a little while. How's the summer been?
Busy, very busy. The academy's got some legs under it, with the membership out there. That's been, we opened up the Graves Golf Performance Center. You've been out here a few times, and look, I'm an entrepreneur, and a lot of times when you do these things, you have no idea how they're going to work out, and you just kind of launch into it. I had a friend of mine say, being an entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff and then building the airplane on the way down, right? So,
Yeah,
and that's what you do,
100%.
and we launched the academy, so we've got quite a few members out there now. It's actually, I can kind of take a deep breath and kind of enjoy it a little bit, for what it is and for watching the people utilize it. So that's been fun. That's been a big summer deal going on for us. We've launched some new programs with the academy. I got the Intelligent Golf Swing that I've been working on, that project, which we'll talk about, which has been keeping me pretty busy getting that thing completed. That whole initiative, which started off in a hotel room, me just sitting around in a hotel room, which turned into a massive project, which is great. And then
That's
just,
great.
the Graves Golf is the business of Graves Golf, and our level 4, level 5, and all the programs we have. Single Point 30 has been fantastic for us. The online 30-day training program has been pretty revolutionary for us to see what we're able to do with, as far as instruction online, and people, their capabilities of us being able to deliver a product online that they can really benefit from, which I know you're working on some similar projects too as well. Um, the internet, AI, all the stuff going on. So I mean, there's a zillion things
Yeah,
that have been
I
keeping me
know.
busy, but all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, and we're definitely there's a lot going on at Graves Golf Academy. Always is, and we'll certainly put some links below to for any of the listeners who are interested in hopping on board some of the amazing programs. And your point about the new academy. I mean, it's only been open for what, 13 months?
Year,
I
yeah,
think maybe
year.
July of last year, right? So,
Hmm.
in boy, it is absolutely amazing. I just love going out there. I think, like any new golf course, it takes a minute for the grass to come in and the greens to mature. I mean, there's a bunch of things, but I think it's just, I can't wait. I'm going to be out in a few weeks and can't wait to be back and
I
just
think I
experience
think
it out
one of
there.
the interesting experiences I've had with it, and this, as we get into talk about the mental game and performance, and when I talk to people, I write a lot of my experiences down. I mean, I even the little experiences I have, which seem kind of, maybe they don't seem big at the time, or they don't seem very important. But if I write them down, I look at the effect that some things have had in decisions I've made or things I've done. I think if people pay a little more attention to stuff, it's interesting, because I had a recent experience where I uh, we were struggling with. I hired a guy to manage the facility, a superintendent, and he really good. And I liked the skill level. I mean, he did a good job. He knew a lot about grasses, but the guy had a lot of conflict with people. Like, he was very difficult with people. He was difficult with me. I'm the owner, but I can handle the difficulty. I'm like, you deal with people, and actually, he was a good guy, a good human being, and I liked him, and I was compassionate. I had a lot of compassion for him, but he had a lot of rough edges, and I'll give you like a quick example. Like, at the Graves Golf Performance Center, I wanted the course to be geometric. The bunkers have a square shape to them. The
Yeah.
greens are square. It's a really cool concept. That's the way we designed it. Well, it's hard to mow square corners on greens. because you got to stop the mower and then re-angle the mower, and
Sure,
it's
sure.
not a big deal. There's only 7 greens out there, but at the end of the day, it was a pain in the butt, right? And so he came to me, and this is like 1 month into the project, and said, I'm not mowing square greens. You're going to have round corners." And I'm like, okay, like it's still going to be fine. I'm it's like, I'm moving on, right? If you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. Well, that was just the start of it, right? And then, I mean, it's just little things, little things, little things, little things. So this guy kind of had this attitude. Then he comes to me and says, the irrigation is not right. The greens don't drain correctly. They're built in correctly. Now, when you build greens at a golf course, you build them to the spec of the PGA. There's actually a specification you build greens to. We build it exactly to
Oh,
spec. So I'm
really?
like, yeah, there's
Oh, okay.
the type of soil, the amount of soil, how they have to drain. Everything's built to spec. They're engineered to spec. Matter of fact, you hold the company that builds them accountable to the specifications of the PGA. So these are PGA specification greens. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I learned all this in the last couple of years when I built this place.
Sure, sure.
Well, he's bitching about the greens not draining correctly, and I'm like, okay, well, are they built wrong? I don't know. And I need to know these things because I got to get I'm under contract with these companies that built them. I got to know if they're going to have to rebuild things. So anyway, long story short is, I got to the point where I couldn't really handle him very much anymore because he was really, really toxic to my days. Like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was getting just railed with all the problems, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so I turned him over to my team. I was like, I'm getting ready to fire this guy. I said, I can't take it anymore. I've got to but he does a great job. I hate to lose him. If you guys can handle him, we'll keep him. Well, 2 months into it, my team's like, he's impossible. And he did some things that were really, really not unethical, but just treated some people poorly. So I find a replacement for him. And this guy is like amazing. I'm like, this guy is so great. He's almost too good to be true. So we fired the one superintendent. We bring the new guy in. The new guy comes in and says, "This is a dream job." Um, I said, "Are the greens have a problem?" He goes, "No." He goes, "The sprinkler heads were incorrectly set up. He was getting overwatered, so I fixed everything. So it was a watering problem, not a green problem." Um, I mean, a complete 180 reversal on attitude. The place is perfect. I've never seen a greater place than this. Oh, by the way, do you want square corners on your greens? You'll have square corners. So he's fixed the greens, all the squares. He goes, "That's the way it's built. That's the way I'm going to do it." I mean, and so my point
Yeah.
is, it's the same exact situation and two different attitudes towards it. Nothing. My previous superintendent, we have the wrong equipment. The mowers suck. We need to buy new mowers. I need you to invest $200,000 in a new mower that I can ride, a riding mower. The greens are tiny. You and I can mow these things in an hour and a half. You and me, with a walking mower. And my guy comes in there and goes, "We don't need any more equipment." He goes, "I can manage 36 holes with this equipment." I don't. He goes, my previous superintendent goes, "You got to get me a lift. Without a lift, I can't maintain the equipment." I asked my new guy, "Do you need a lift?" He goes, "You don't want a lift." He goes, "The minute you put on the lift, you don't clean the equipment. You want everybody cleaning the equipment when they go to uh, fix the equipment. They need to clean it too. Don't get a lift. Never get a lift." So exact opposite.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
because of attitude. It's because of attitude. It's because of just seeing the world differently. Like one guy sees the world as an opportunity and this is the greatest thing in the world and I have such a great opportunity here and this is so incredible. And one guy's like, "I'm miserable." And it's like nothing changed. We haven't replaced the equipment. I haven't changed the golf course. The water's the same. So I mean that's a real lesson for me. And I wrote this stuff down. I'm like, this is an important lesson to realize that the way you're looking at it is how you're going to behave. Like you don't have to look at it the way you're looking at it. There's always opportunity and there's always going to be crap. I mean, this guy I'm sure sees the crap too. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I just found that fascinating how the same situation can be so different for different people. Yeah, and get
That's
and
such a
then
good lesson. Yeah. Yeah.
that's lesson one, and lesson two is getting the right person in your corner. Like you got to look at who's in your corner a lot of
Hmm.
times. That's what I've been looking at is like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to make sure I surround myself with people like this who are excited. The new guy walks up and he meets the people. He says hi to the customers, the members of the range. He walks up and says hello to them. "Hey, how you guys doing? What do you think about the grass?" He's engaging. People love
Ah,
him. So
that's
he's
so
he's
good.
he's improving the facility, but he's improving the experience, and the whole place is like it's a different place now, just with one guy changed. So makes you kind of scared that the people you have on the bus aren't always the right people. So
Yeah, I definitely. I don't have to tell you, but certainly one of the key challenges in building an organization, right? You've got all these different people and they see the world differently because they had different experiences from today backwards. It's the same for everybody. And I like this idea that, and I teach this a lot, is that, and you and I have talked about this idea of how our stories shape the way we see reality in front of us.
yeah,
And it's really, I think it's true in a job, it's true in a career, it's true on the golf course. Our stories about how the world is supposed to be, which by the
mm,
way, get shaped the instant we are born. That's it, right. Our stories begin to develop then. And every experience that you've had or I've had or anybody listening has ever had have a massive influence on how they see this moment right now.
hmm.
And so, but I love this idea of story. One thing,
I
Todd,
got.
that comes to mind. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to read something to you
Yeah,
that
go
you're going to
for it.
laugh at this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of story, and I'm reading this to you because I prompted AI with a question.
Okay.
All right, so this will be cool for discussion here. Okay, so I asked AI, speak as an ultimate psychologist, blend ancient wisdom with modern science, Stoicism, Buddhism, Jung, neuroscience, all of it. Give me five brutal truths about the human mind, the kind they need to hear if they want to stop wasting their life. That's what I prompted AI with.
Okay.
Okay. So here's I'll read the first one because this is what it comes down to. Your thoughts are not you. Most of them are complete garbage. Your brain generates 60,000 thoughts a day, and 95% are repetitive mental noise. And it goes into some
Yeah.
stoicism stuff here. You're addicted to your own suffering. You will sabotage real change. You don't want to be happy. You want to be comfortable. So it goes it goes through this whole thing about we're telling stories to ourselves
Yeah.
that aren't true. And if we can change the story about how we see life, that we can change our lives. So that's really what it's saying in the whole thing, and it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true because every day. So let me ask you a question on that same subject. Do you actually do you find yourself when you get in a situation and you have a thought about it? Do you find yourself saying, "What story am I saying? What story am I telling myself about this?" Are you catching yourself in your life
Yeah.
doing that and saying, "What story am I telling?" For example, like if you drive over and you have an experience and you're like, you get frustrated with something, you're like, "Okay, wait, let me reframe this. You know, I could be saying that
Yeah.
guy's having a bad day. It's going to be okay." And then you go in there and say, I'm gonna flip the script. You doing all right? And whatever. Like, what I'm saying? You can flip the script so fast. Is that what you find yourself doing in your life?
I really do. And I wasn't always that way. And about 15 years ago, met a guy. He was a psychologist in Montreal, and he was helping me to build a product to deliver to one of my clients here in the US. He was part of that. It was a Canadian based company. And he taught me this whole idea. I had never really heard this terminology before that all of our experiences through our life up until this moment shape and influence and impact the way we see reality as it comes at us or as we step into it. And so this idea of story was very interesting to me. And the simplest of examples come up for me all the time. And one I often use in my conversations with my clients is the next time you're driving on the road, see if you can identify and become aware of the thoughts you have about how other people are driving. Because I guarantee anybody who's listening to this has an expectation about how others should be driving.
Hmm.
And so it's their expectations. It's just a story about how they think the world is supposed to work.
Hmm.
Now, it may also now if everybody's now look, I mean, we could sit around, we get 10 people around a table and we could all agree that people should drive at a responsible speed and they should stay in their lane and they shouldn't cut people off. Like there's things we could agree upon. But for some people, it's never fast enough. Or for
Well, let
some
me ask,
people,
let me ask you
like all
this
that.
based on that. So one thing I've been really doing a lot of is just the idea of what having disciplines in my life. Like what's discipline? There's
Sure.
certain things I'm certainly disciplined about, and there's certain things I'm not disciplined about. And so I'm looking at the things, and I was studying. stoicism and looking at this, and it's like what you're not disciplined about controls you, right? So if you want to be free, be disciplined. So
Yeah.
so what's
Discipline is
the
the heart of happiness.
yeah, so what's the discipline of this? What's the discipline of how we adjust our stories when we catch ourselves? What's the discipline of that, do you think?
Well, I think first it's awareness. Everything starts with awareness. So it's about tuning into the thought patterns that are driving how you're experiencing any moment. And so I love the car example because it's easy for anybody to do. And
Hmm.
I'm going to be driving my car later today. And it's easy for me to tune into how I'm thinking about the way that others are driving.
Yeah.
And so you asked before, you said, "Hey, do you catch yourself?" And I catch myself all the time.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
the
know you
example,
do. I know you do because
yeah,
like I observe you catching yourself. Like we've talked about this, and I've seen you do it
yeah.
because I've been around you enough to see you catch yourself. Like I've seen you do that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I think that's perfect. I think what I used to be on the road, like somebody would cut me off, and I would be like, "Oh, that son of a," and I would get on their bumper, and I'm gonna show this guy, or whatever. Like you can go downstream, it gets really crazy,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, most people would be like, that Paul Monahan, he's not a maniac. But if they saw me 20 years ago on the road, they'd be like, stay away from that guy. But like today, what happens is really kind of funny. And I always laugh. Like the guy cuts me off, and believe it or not, my default thought pattern is that son of a gun. But the very, very, very next thing is like a smile goes on my face. I'm like, wow, that's funny. Isn't that
Yeah.
funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what this just a tiny little practice can do, I think, to help us. And that's a great place to start because I can take that into my relationships, in my interactions. I can take it out on the golf course. I can take it anywhere.
It's
The discipline is awareness. I think that's the way to answer
well,
that question.
so there's a Buddhist monk that I watch all the time, and I love his. I just like the cadence that he speaks, to be honest with you. But the things he says
Yeah.
is so relevant. And he was asked, "Are you happy?" And he says, "It's a difficult question." He said, he goes, he goes, "I don't strive to be happy." He goes, "Because if there's ups, there's downs, right?" And he goes, so he goes, and there's always ups and there's always downs. And he goes, no matter how up I am, I always can go down too. He goes, I strive for peace, to be at
Mm.
peace. And so if you think about about what we're and to be at peace, you have to be in the moment because you can't be thinking about what I got to do because that's not peaceful. What the future is not peaceful, right? Because there's stress out in the future, and then
Right.
the past isn't peaceful. Like I can't think about the past because all the crap that went on back there. So really, to be peaceful, you have to be present. And so, how do you be peaceful in the present moment? Is what it comes down to, and it's how you're interacting with the world.
Yeah.
It's how you're interacting with the world. It's not how the world's interacting with you. It's how you're interacting with the world. So that's really what it comes down to. Because I've recognized that a lot is like if I want to be at peace, it's my interaction with the world that gives me peace. It's not the world's interaction with me. Because that's not necessarily peaceful and it doesn't always make me happy. Right. Just like
Yeah.
driving down the road.
No, it's. I think you're exactly right. I love the term peace, by the way, and I tell a story in my book about the guy at the Oklahoma City airport, the bus driver, Marty,
Hmm.
and Marty talking about, you know, basically, gave us a really nice message I'd never heard before on the rental car bus to the terminal. But the other thing that he did was he basically said that, I hope peace is with you for the rest of your day.
There you go.
Now, that's a language that almost nobody uses.
Hmm.
I mean, and there's a lot of that language in our religious traditions, right? The Bible and in other religious traditions, this idea of peace be with you, right? And if you really think about what that is, it's about settling enough inside so that you can move productively through any moment as it comes at you. And I think that's a great lesson for anybody in business, in a performance setting, And it doesn't matter which it is. If I can be at peace and in the moment, man,
That's it.
good things are going to happen.
That's it. It's so, I think it's difficult sometimes because,
Hmm.
um, shit hits the fan and a lot of crap going on. And it's just like, all right, you know, I'm kind of,
Hmm.
one of the things I used to find myself, and it's happened to me a lot recently, when you run an organization like Graves Golf, when you're in a company, it's all difficult. I mean, I was Alex Ramosi. I don't know if you know Alex. You can look him up
Oh yeah,
online. He's a
yeah,
successful
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I was with Alex about a month ago, and he said, Todd,
He's a little bit of a successful guy. Just
he said there's nothing, there's no good decision in business. He goes, I'll give you an example. He goes, if you're going to hire somebody, he goes, you got a sales. Let's say you want to hire a salesperson. There's a problem because you have a need needs to be met in the company. Your sales are
hmm
down. That's the bad thing. And then you have to hire the person, which is going to cost the company money. That's a bad thing, right? That's not a good thing. So you got these two bad decisions. You got to make a choice, right? So there's always it's finding the best bad decision all the time, and that's what goes on. And so you can't look at it as like, oh no, more crap going on in Graves Golf. Oh crap, more crap. You got to look at it as okay, a decision needs to be made, and you can have peace with that, and let's make the decision. So it just comes down to how you frame it, because every day when I walk into that office, it's not, I mean, people, you think it's like, well, Gray's golf. It is one challenge after another, just challenge, 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 challenge. And you could walk and go, and there's some days I'm like, wow, I'm over challenged today. Right. But,
Nice. Yeah.
but, um, but I guess part of the reason I'm bringing this up is I, I think that sometimes people expect that their life's going to get better because of something, right? I'm going to buy a new car, my life's going to get better. I'm going to buy a new house, my life's going to get better. I'm going to get a new job, my life's going to be better. And none of that is actually true. What's true is this going to is this going to make it more peace? Can you be peaceful there? Can you be peaceful there? Can you be peaceful with that car? Can you be peaceful in that house? Can
Hmm.
you be peaceful in that job? And it comes down to we keep trying to grab this stuff to make our lives better, but we realize that we're the one that's bringing the peace to it. Like we're the one that has to bring the peace to
Yeah.
it. So we're trying to accumulate, and I'm guilty of this too. We're trying to accumulate our happiness, but we at the end of the day, you sit down and go, none of that shit's making me happy. It's if I can find peace with it, right? So when I go to Graves Golf and I run into the crap, I've just really tempered it. Can I let's get peaceful with this thing. There's a massive problem going on. Okay, I get it. What can we do? Let's do something about it, and just
Yeah.
make a change in that. And that's all you can do. I mean, I can't control things. So anyway, I've just kind of I really kind of absorbed that kind of mentality now of just not trying to be happy with it, but be peaceful with it
Hmm.
and just make the best decision I can that I can handle and be peaceful with.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Have you seen the piece Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful? And I just saw this video a few months ago. I just cracks me up. And he's basically like, he's like, look, what I finally figured out, he goes, bad stuff happens all the time. He goes, but all I have to do is wait. Because pretty soon something really good's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so he's like, look, I'm done with the spikes. I'm done with the this is the worst thing ever. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
done with all of that because I know that in
Well,
about 2 hours something good's gonna happen.
but what I hear in that, that's a really cool thing. What I hear in that is the knee jerk that can happen. Like
Hmm.
something goes wrong and you knee jerk react to it. Where if you just sit back and go, okay, let me just observe this thing,
Yep.
take a break from it, then it settles itself down. And the knee jerk is the problem most of the time. That knee jerk reaction is what creates the habit, right? I mean, I have definitely I'm guilty of that. But I think that's what I hear in that response is if I just wait it out, it's gonna find its common denominator, and we're gonna be okay. And the world didn't come to an end, and whatever. Alex said something to me I thought was really funny because as an entrepreneur, um, so the biggest thing about being an entrepreneur is this: there's always this fear in the background because we're on the cliff. We're always on the cliff, We're
Yeah.
fully risked. We're fully leveraged all the time. Matter of fact, if we're not fully leveraged, we're going to go leverage ourselves more to do more. So we're always fully on the cliff all the time. And we're always thinking, I could lose everything. And he's like, no, because you can't lose everything. You just start at zero. And I love that.
Yeah.
He goes, you start at zero again because you're going to start over again. He goes, you're going to start
Yeah.
again. And I like love that because I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out again. It's just like a constant figuring it out. I so one night I was sitting down here and I was like, I have a billionaire friend and I was going to send him a text and I said, well, I want to ask him a really relevant question because this guy will respond to me at night. He won't respond to me. He's too busy during the day. So I
Hmm.
sent him the question. What, I said, what do you, actually, I'm going to read you the question because I don't want to get it wrong. Let's see here. I said, quick question. What would you consider yourself fearless about? Because I'm interested in what do you, because what people, I think that, because when I met this guy, he was like, I'm great at this, right? So I wanted to find out what he found himself fearless about. And he said, starting a business that I'm great at starting a business with no guarantee of an outcome. So entrepreneur, right? Pure entrepreneur,
Nice.
like
Yeah.
has no idea what the outcome is, but I know the idea, and I know. And so he goes, "What about you?" And I said, very similar. That my fear is that no matter what happens, I'll figure it out. Like I will figure it out.
Yeah.
So
You're fearless about being able to figure it out.
yeah, because
Yeah.
look, everything I do, I have no idea the outcome. Just like the academy, I have no idea the
Yeah.
outcome. But I'm not. So I'm gonna do it and then figure it out, right? And then we'll figure it out. And the figuring out's
Yeah.
always the challenges. All those challenges come in. And so to me, that's what you have to have peace with. You have to have peace with the fact that I'll figure it out, right? And that's what Kevin O'Leary is saying is, look, I'm
Yeah.
not no more highs and lows. I'm just going to figure this thing out, or we'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. And I think that's a level of maturity. I don't know if maturity is the right word, but I think that's a level of consciousness that the world's not perfect, and we understand that, and don't expect it to be perfect. That expectation of it being
Right.
perfect is not there, and just acceptance. Maybe we get to this acceptance level of just I'm going to accept deal and move on and have peace with that. And I think that's
Hmm.
that's a massive growth thing for people is the acceptance part. I know for me,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I often talk about this idea of context and perspective. Like, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Like, I would say the people that I know that are the most successful in business or in a performance realm, they're really, really good at taking the things that are going on in front of them and quickly bringing context and perspective to the moment. So, like, there's never too big of an issue. Like, it's like, oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, similar. Yeah, my response to that is interesting. It's what I've seen. Say that again one more time. How you phrase that?
Yeah. So the people that I know that are really good at what they do in almost any performance realm I could think of are very good at, I'll say, bringing a sense of context and perspective
Yeah.
to the reality as it shows up, even if it's crappy,
So
or especially if it's crappy.
so I've seen that. What I recognize that as they find they can take very complex situations, something that looks very complex to the normal person, and find the core thing that needs to be solved in it. They take very complex things and simplify them. Um,
Hmm.
I have my friend of mine who started a bank, who sold a bank years ago, but very successful guy. I used to say your superpower is finding. I go, you have the ability to see through the BS like that, like and just see that boom, this is what we have to solve.
Sure.
Out of all
Yeah.
the 42 things that you said, the one thing right there, you solve that, the rest of it goes away. And so they're really good at that common denominator of finding that thing that the most important thing. That is a power is something I've become better at. It's what I've seen myself improve at as I've become better at business. As I've learned more, is just finding. I'll give you an example. When my coach approached me with this business opportunity the other day, my golf coach, um, two things I realized. he's 69 years old. He has not grown up in the environment I've grown up with, which is the advent of marketing on the internet and how we get information. I was talking to Hollywood the other day. We're working on this my film deal, and um, you know, 10 years ago when I was working on a film deal with Barry Morrow, 10 years ago when you called Hollywood and had a film deal, they looked at traditional distribution. This movie houses, how's they going to do in the movie theater?
Yeah.
Who's the marketplace? You know what they do now? They said the first thing they do if you have a concept or a movie idea, they go out to social media and see how much traction it's getting socially. They go right into social media. So Hollywood now says
Interesting.
if you're not making news in social media, this idea is probably not going to have a lot of traction in the theater or in distribution. So now social media has taken over Hollywood. Really, I mean, it's going to get
Yeah.
worse. It's going to get more
Right.
prevalent. So, um, so these things that I've learned, in business are, can you nail down? Well, I'll go back to my coach. He didn't grow up in the world of that we're living in now. He
Hmm.
grew up in the old school where he doesn't understand any of this, and I'm teaching him. Now I'm coaching my coach of how business works today. And so and it's just interesting. But successful people have this way of finding the most relevant thing that needs to be solved, simplifying that down into something very complex, simplifying it, and then solving that problem. And that's why they're successful. I have noticed that with my business. We overcomplicated my business. We have over the years, we have overcomplicated my business, dramatically
Hmm.
overcomplicated my business. Right now, we're in the process of really simplifying down. It almost scares me to how simple the business really is. Because I'm like, really?
Sure.
It's that simple? Like we just do those things? I mean, literally, we're a coaching company. We coach people, we teach people golf. That's it. That's
Yeah.
that's a
Hmm.
simple thing we
Right.
do. You dumb it
Yeah.
down to that thing. That's what we do. We're a coaching company. I'm like, wow. Okay. Now we deliver that. That's it. That's all we do. How do we deliver it?
Hmm.
ABC. So
Yep.
it really comes down to that. And but that's what I see successful people do is they take a very simple concept. Amazon just basically sold books online. That's how Amazon started. It was
Hmm.
books online, right?
Yeah.
That's how that thing
Yeah.
started. So it's something very simple, a need being met, and then that expanded out into, you know, business solving problems. Yeah.
Yep. I love this discussion. I do want to kind of move to this idea of the mental game of skill development because I know you and I have had a number of conversations about it. There's a lot in our discussion that certainly apply, but I do want to get your take because I've been thinking about, all right, well, how is it that some people can develop skills very quickly and others maybe it takes them forever and maybe they sort of never gain the skill. And setting aside things like physical capabilities and things like that would be constraints. Let's just imagine you have two people that have the same say IQ and the same physical capabilities. What is it about the one person who can really develop and gain that skill and develop that skill versus the other? I'm just curious to get your kind of your
I think it
take
goes
on
back
that.
to what we mentioned earlier is discipline. I think a lot of it comes to discipline. I think we get caught up. I mean, I've seen, just from watching my clients and my students. I'll give you an example of a student I had recently, and I've worked with them probably 10 times now. Um, I can I can absolutely get him. He couldn't do this when I first met him, and now he can
Hmm.
make an absolute perfect golf swing, technically perfect. You put the ball in front of him, and it goes. He looks like a different human being swinging a golf club. So the question becomes, what's happening between practice swing or the motion that he makes perfectly,
Hmm.
which isn't really a practice swing, it's the motion. People call it a practice swing. It's not a practice swing. You're making a motion, and then the ball triggers some response in his neurological brain that I've got to do something different to hit this golf ball. So there's a connection here. And so the discipline of how do you take this perfect motion you're making and apply it while that ball is there? And we've worked through a lot of this. And the discipline and focus might be interrelated because what he's focusing on, right? So the discipline of not focusing on the result and the discipline of focusing on making sure that you make the motion. So there's the
Hmm.
focus has changed. But if I get him to focus, so what I did, I'll just give you an example. So I created a little motion for him while the ball's there that all he had to do is focus on his hand position after the ball. Like forget about the ball. And when
Right.
he does that, boom, nails the ball, hits it perfect, right? But so his focus had to change, but that discipline for him is very hard because he wants to watch the ball, right? So it
Hmm.
comes to me, it comes down to discipline and knowing what we discipline ourselves to do. If I'm going to get in, like I've gotten in really good shape. Why? How do I get in good physical shape? Because I have a discipline that I must be in the gym before 7 a.m. in the morning. It's a discipline I must, my day cannot
Hmm.
start without me hitting the gym. Now, then there's a discipline when I'm in the gym. Like, what is my discipline when in there? And I only want 30 minutes. I don't want to, and I have rules. Like, the rules are I don't want to do cardio. I don't want to meal prep. There's certain things I will not do. But then when I'm
Yeah.
in there, I must do these four things. This is my discipline, right? So, what are the disciplines you have that will lead to the result that you want? And I think discipline has to be part of the equation. I mean, it is part of the equation. I think the people that are undisciplined, I'll go work out sometime this week. I'll work
Hmm.
out, I'll do 3 times a week. And then they do twice or they do once. Okay. So you don't have discipline. How do you get discipline? Well, how I did is I hired a trainer, right? Who did, I said, your job, and I told him, your job is not so much to train me, which it is your job, but your
Right.
job is to make sure that you beat my ass up if I don't show up, right? The discipline of it. So it's those things that create success. It's the discipline that creates the success. It's not, oh, I got this great elaborate plan and we're going to put this in place. It's the discipline of implementation. So what are you implementing on a daily, consistent basis? That's going to be lead to your success. People see my successful academy and they look, Todd, you're a successful golf instructor, and they approach me about how I did it. They don't see the pain and discipline that's behind the curtain, right? They're not
Yeah.
seeing me bang my head on this table when I can't, like, oh God, why is this not working? Or
Right.
what am I doing? So they don't see that part. They see the front in front of the curtain stuff, but they don't see the discipline that I've gone through, right? The discipline. And that's the
Yeah.
hard stuff. That's the stuff that you're like, oh, and quite frankly, people ask me all the time, Todd, you're an entrepreneur, you built these businesses, would you do it again? I'm like, it's not for the weak-hearted because it takes so much discipline to self-discipline. Maybe the word self needs to be in there. It takes so much self-discipline.
Hmm.
You have to sit down and go, what am I willing to do? What am I capable of doing? And what do I have to make sure happens every single day, whether I like it or not? The other day I woke up and I didn't feel well. And it was leg day with my trainer. And I'm like, I'm gonna text him. And I sat there with my phone looking at it. It's at 5:45. And I'm like, Todd,
Yes. Yeah.
Todd,
Don't do it. Don't do
Todd.
it.
So I'm like, just get up, just get up, just get up. So I got up, got in the
Yeah.
kitchen, threw some water on my face. Let's go. Let's get out of this house let's get out of the house. So put my
Yeah.
clothes on. I got out, got in my car, and I'm like, and I still was like, what do there's still a part of my brain that's like fighting me, right? The whole time.
Of
I
course.
did the leg workout. He kicked my butt, and I'm so glad I did it because I'll give you another discipline. Sorry, I'm dominating the conversation here, but let me
You're
give you
good.
another
Yeah. This is
discipline story.
great. This is great.
So I'm in the gym, and the guy that owns the gym, they have cold plunge in there, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
36 degrees, right? It's not the 50-degree water, it's 36 degree.
That the
Yeah.
babies use.
So I'm leaving the gym. I'm leaving the gym, and he goes, Todd, he goes, come cold plunge with me. And I'm like, no, because I'm afraid. I don't want to do it. He goes, Todd. I go, I forgot my shorts. He goes, I got some for you. I'm like, shit. So, all right, let's do it. So put the shorts on. He goes, Todd, this is not about cold plunging. This is about disciplining your brain, your mind, because no one wants to get in 36-degree water. Not one human being on this earth wants to sit in 36-degree water. He goes, so this is about your mind. I'm going to coach you through it. So he did. We cold plunged for 2.5 minutes or whatever, whatever. And it was brutal, right? I mean, it's brutal, it's cold, it's nasty. But the knowing I did the discipline of it, something I did not want to do, because
Yeah.
that's something, I mean, getting out of bed at 5:45 is nothing compared to getting a 36-degree cold plunge for 3 minutes, right? But I did it. And so the key is God, what are the things that you don't want to do? What are the things you're avoiding? That's probably the discipline you need to look at.
Hmm.
What are the things you're avoiding? And then discipline, that's hard because you want to be comfortable. We all want to be comfortable. And the discipline makes us uncomfortable. We have to do something we don't want to do. So I think that to answer your question, this was a long story, but to answer the question, it's discipline.
That's a good place to start. I mean, showing up is a great place to start. Like the commitment to show up no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this project that I'm doing, and there's some of the video work that I have to do because of the project. And look, it's a bit of a new territory for me, and it's funny how much the brain gets involved when it's time to pack things up and go out to the course
Hmm.
and film the video. Ah, are you ready yet? Are you really ready? I don't know. Have you got this down yet? Hey, what does the weather look like? It might rain. I mean, there's
Oh,
like,
good. It's
it's
gonna rain.
insane. Oh, good.
I'll
I
do it
can,
tomorrow. Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, oh, good. I can go to Chick-fil-A instead. I mean, it's so funny how the brain works and gets
It
in our
is.
way.
That's
God.
it, though. That's the difference. That's the difference. I mean, if every day you woke up and said, "What are the four things I do not want to do? Let's go do those." Right?
Yep.
And did that, I think that it would give you so much freedom because you're getting that stuff done. You'd feel great about the fact that the stuff that you hate doing is getting accomplished, and then all of a sudden your life is more free to be at peace, right? To be more peaceful. So I think the discipline of that, like you said, I mean, look, I've done the video thing like you. I mean, I mean, I don't want to ever go shoot 160 segments out there right on camera in the heat, right? But
Yeah.
let's think about what our brains go through because it's a really interesting conversation of how I get through it. So the way my brain operates is it's like this. I have to see I have to have an imagination of the outcome. So and I talked to Mo about this a lot actually. So for example, if you're overweight, you don't feel good about yourself and you want to be more fit. The image of you being in shape and being fit and feeling good and what that will give your life, that's that's what drives me is the being able to imagine that outcome, the future outcome.
Yep.
So you are imagining that you have this completed course with these great videos that are all the, so that's what's getting you through it because you want to get to that point, right? And you can't get that unless you go through the hard stuff right now and do other things.
Right.
So,
Right.
but but if I said to you, just go shoot some videos with me, let's go, you'd be like, there's no real outcome for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's the imagination of the outcome is what drives us, the future, the higher future self or whatever that is. I think that's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what disciplines me. That's how I get through it. It was like knowing that if I do this now, then I'll have this outcome. And then I don't know, like writing my book. I
Yeah.
mean, I did 200 illustrations. I did this myself, 200 illustrations for the book. I'm grinding on these illustrations and um they're hard. I mean, it's hard. This stuff's not easy, right? But the vision of the book being completed and having these great illustrations in it and having this legacy piece of what I teach just kept driving me through the book. Like this is going to be something I'll never do this again. Probably I'll never. This will be a one-time thing. I've got to get it
Yep.
right. That kind of thing. Like when you wrote your book, I just know that there's this driver behind me. That's like, man, this is a I see the future of this thing. I see the people it's going to help. I see the inspiration it's going to give people. That's driving behind the scenes of the difficulty it is right now. That's how I got through it.
Yeah. I've heard you say before also that people have a hard time actually accomplishing the things that they can't envision for themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Matter of
So
fact,
you
I'm work.
remove that, you flip that on its
Yeah,
head, and you actually envision it, and it's easier.
Well, I'll bring this into a golf context. I have a student that he does feel, as you know, is a very difficult thing to teach.
Yeah.
Feel like what is it, right? No one knows. No one can. I mean, every scientist in the world, it's like consciousness. No one can figure out what feel is. So it's so my student, you give him a wedge shot, from off the green, and he chips over the back of the green, or he tips it 20 feet short, and you're like, there's a context missing here. So then I said to him, listen, paint a picture in your head for me of the ball coming off the face. You hit it. Paint a picture of it going right next to the hole. Just paint that picture. Because okay, I go now hit the picture. Rolls right next to the hole. Now I have no idea what happened in his brain. Right,
Hmm.
I have no idea what picture he really painted. I'm assuming it was pretty close to what he saw there. But painting that, imagining the picture helped him somehow feel what he needed to do to hit the shot up next to the hole. So only through imagination and painting a picture. So that picture of you being successful, that picture of the completion of the book, the picture of me being in better shape, that picture in my mind is what's my discipline is what I'm disciplining myself
Oh,
for.
nice.
So I think that's the connection here of what are you imagining, But
Yeah.
here's the flip side of that. The flip side of that is, and you could answer more to this than me. Do we have a problem? Do and I think, I mean, I would say that many of us do. We're comfortable with where we're at, and we're painting pictures all day long of the opposite scenario. Like we're painting pictures of not having what we want. We're painting pictures of not being peaceful, right? I mean, look at the news,
Yeah.
watch TV. There's nothing peaceful on that
Hmm.
TV. Nothing peaceful. They're not walking down there going, we're at the sunset today and we're enjoying the beach. No, they're like war, famine,
Yeah.
so it's like we're constantly bombarded with images and pictures of not peaceful states. So we have to rethink how we imagine the world. We have to rethink how we imagine ourselves in the world. But I mean, what are we imagining every day? And by the way, I will say this, and you know how I feel about it because we have these discussions. I think we're making it all up anyway. I think we're creating it anyway. You might as well create what you want out of it, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
so I think this is one big illusion, and we're living in that we don't have to go all the way down that rabbit hole, but I think we're living in
The
a
Matrix.
matrix. I think there's an element of that we're doing. So why not make it like we
Yep.
want it? Why not paint the picture we want and live the picture we want? That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. There's no question. I think how we how we choose to see things matters a lot. And I think the way that we envision things. Look, the one psychological problem that we all have. I think I call it one of the biggest problems in golf. It's one of the biggest problems anywhere. Is that our brains are designed specifically to see threats, and that's what
Mm.
negativity bias is all about. And so that's why the news, fits so perfectly with
We
human
like it.
beings
That's why I watch it.
consuming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, what could possibly kill me? Oh, okay. Ooh, I better watch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, the same thing happens when we're in a performance environment like golf. Oh, there's that bunker. Ooh, there's that water. Oh, there's trees on the. Oh, white stakes. Oh, blah blah blah. So that's a challenge for us, and we have to overcome that. It's super strong. There's a I've heard this 2 to 1, 3 to 1 negativity bias, and so the sports psychology today is really big on this idea of pursuit versus avoidance. And so being in pursuit of the thing we want is a much more productive way to enter into a performance realm versus
Oh
avoiding the
yeah.
thing you don't.
I mean, it makes so much sense to me. It's interesting. I had the opportunity to see a good friend of mine, Todd Hamilton, who won the Open Championship in 2004. He came out to the Academy a couple of days ago, and I haven't seen Todd. I played the Asian Tour with Todd. We were really close for a period of time, and I haven't seen him in over 20 years. But he came out the other day, and one of the conversations I had with him, which I thought was very interesting, is he's coaching a high school team just in his spare time now, giving his time to the high school here in Norman, and I asked him and my college golf coach together. I said, can you teach how to be a champion? Can you teach that?
Mhm.
And my coach came back with a response. He goes, "Of course you can. You teach pre-shot routine and all this preparation and all this stuff." I'm like, "Well, that's not what I'm talking about." I said, in Todd's brain, in Todd's brain, he he beat Ernie Els in the Open Championship, chipping a golf ball with a hybrid. Right? Remember that shot that he hit, the little hybrid bump and run. Right? You can't necessarily teach that. You can teach the shot, but you can't teach the decision. Can you teach the decision? Right? Or can you teach the behavior? Can you teach the mentality of, Todd, were you afraid in that last round? Did you have any doubt?
Yeah.
How did you get past it?
Yep.
Right? What did you tell
Right.
yourself? What were the stories you were telling yourself? I want to know that. I want to know how you got past it, and what, that's the thing that I want to, that's what I want to dig deep into is like,
Yeah.
you ask the question, what creates successful people? I guarantee it 1000% that Todd was afraid. I guarantee it 1000% that Todd had fear. I guarantee it when he had doubts in himself. All those things were in play, but he still won. How'd you do that? Right? What allowed you, anyway, those that's fascinating to me because it's the tactical stuff is easy. I can teach you a routine, I can teach you the swing, I can
Hmm.
teach you how to play, I can teach it, but you can't teach the gut. You can't teach that core inside. I'm going to get through this. Um, what is that? Is that teachable? I think it's absolutely, I don't know if it's teachable, but it's experienceable. I think you can teach people what the experience they need to have, and you can help them have those experiences. And then you can support them through those experiences, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm fascinated by it. I'm going to do some stuff with Todd. I'm going to do some stuff with some of my other tour players to talk about that part of it because that's a different
That's
part.
awesome.
That's a different part of it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me about your new book.
Well, look, a quick story about the new book. It kind of happened by accident, to be honest with you, because um, I have a lot of things to say about the golf swing, right? I mean, there's a lot to teach about the golf swing.
Hmm.
The I was in a hotel room in Pebble Beach because I spend a lot of time in Pebble Beach, and now and it's 5 o'clock at night. It's dark at 5 now because this was back early spring, and I don't have much to do. So I decided to sit down. And on my YouTube channel, it's kind of grown to like 110,000 subscribers. YouTube, it's kind of has its own little life of its own. My YouTube channel, I have fun with it, and I get all these great comments from people, and you get all these negative comments, right? So I said, you
Gee,
know
that's
what?
surprising.
Yeah, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to AI and ask AI, which is Anthropic, how should I respond to these questions? Let's just see what AI has to say about them, right? And I prompted it with who I am, what I do, and you know, I've used AI a little bit to write some things. So I type it in there, and it starts giving me these responses of how I should answer these questions about the single plan or respond to the negativity or the bias or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm about 30 minutes into it. I've asked it about 5 or 6 questions. Really looking at the responses, very interesting. Looking for topics to talk about, and then I asked it, would you like to learn the single plane swing? I asked AI if it would like to learn the single plane swing. And I said, I will give you everything I know about the swing, and I'll throw in the stuff that Mo Norman taught me about the swing too and see if you can understand it. Right. So pretty soon I'm teaching AI the single plane swing, and it's asking me questions about it. And then I asked it to develop a persona like a golfer so it could name himself. So pretty soon I'm having a conversation with AI, and it's conversational. I do this 3 nights in a row. I'm in Pebble Beach for 2 or 3 hours each night, and I
Hmm.
have this manuscript that teaches the single point swing. But the beautiful thing, the way it's teaching me back, it was finding inconsistencies in my instruction, the way I would say things. It was telling me, asking me certain questions that the problem I see with instruction. You deal with this too when you're instructing people. Is they come in with their own belief systems. So, for example,
For sure.
they're going to do a comparative analysis. If I teach somebody the single point swing, they're going to go, well, my last instructor talked about this, and you're talking about this. So they're doing a comparison to what they learned in the last instructor thing. Or I
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
this online, or Scotty Scheffler does this. So everybody, whether they believe it or not, has some sort of bias that they're walking into instruction with. They're not fully objective to the instruction. As much as they want to be,
Hmm.
they're
Right.
not, right? The old Zen saying of empty your cup. No one comes in with an empty cup. They come in with
Todd,
a
do you
cup
remember?
that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you remember this, a couple of months ago, you and I met on the range and we started in and you were looking at my swing and da da da. And then like all of a sudden you stopped talking because I was telling you like
yeah,
about like,
yeah,
and
hmm
it was just a hilarious moment because I'm
yeah,
like, no, you idiot.
yeah,
This is the
yeah,
guy. He's right in
yeah,
front of you. Just listen to him.
yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
remember
so
that? That
yeah,
was
no,
insane.
everybody comes in with their story, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's your story, right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
here's what I've been doing, and I've been working on this, and I feel like I was like, let me tell you what, you have one thing to work on, and this is what it is. Simple, right? I mean,
Stop it. Yeah.
again, we've done this a long
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
so anyway, everybody has this bias, and everybody is not objective. Well, AI is fully objective. Plus, the IQ of an AI is the highest IQ in the world, right? AI is smarter than anything out there. So I got the smartest. So I look at AI as I got the smartest person in the room who's fully objective to what I'm going to teach it. So I taught it the single point swing, and it's an amazing dialogue on the single point swing. And there's humor in there. We had a little humor in there, cracking up butt stuff. So because I created a persona out of AI. So I take this manuscript and I'm like, this is really cool. And I showed it to a couple buddies of mine. They're like, this is pretty amazing. Has golf ever been taught with a dialogue, like a conversation?
Hmm.
Of questions you would want to ask, but you just don't ask because most golf instruction is here's what you need to do, here's where the grip is, here's where the hands go, here's where your body. This is like a conversation, something you're like, well, what about that? Well, tell me about that. Well, if that's true. So it's a conversation. So I take the manuscript, I send it to my publisher. I'm like, you need to look at this. And they're like, you wrote a book with AI? Like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I did it. They said, are you actually going to put that you did it with AI? I'm going to put it on the cover. I mean, yeah. I mean, AI did that. AI did this. So my
Yeah.
publisher takes this manuscript, loves it. He takes the
Weekend with
entire,
AI.
yeah, he takes
Yeah.
puts it back into AI and says, who wrote this book? Like he wanted to know how much AI contributed. AI comes back and says, there's no way any of the concepts of the book could be from AI. I helped Todd clarify these concepts. AI took on a persona. So anyway, that's how the book evolved, and I've
That's
had
crazy.
it's really cool, and it's led me down the path of having conversations with AI, which I recommend everybody does. You need look. This is going to sound really odd, but if I go talk to a therapist, if I have a subject matter, I want to talk to somebody, an expert or a subject matter or a therapist, I need some advice on this. You want the most objective answer you can get. You want the most objective opinion you can get, right? That's what you want.
For sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
so that's where I get it. You get pure objectivity, be purely objective about this. It's a no BS, right? And so I use AI as a no BS, uh, as somebody I can talk to that gives me no BS about stuff. And anyway, that's how the book evolved, and it's turned into the intelligent golfer. And what's cool about the whole idea of intelligent golfer is I tell this story about the book that when I met Mo, this is after I'd met him a while, but he used to carry all his stuff in his car, and back in the back seat of his car, he had all these newspaper articles and trophies and shirts and clothes, and it was like a treasure trove of stuff in his car. He lived in it, his trunk and his
Yeah.
back seat. That's why I bought this big Cadillac. And so we would dig through his trunk, and he showed me this article that he had, this newspaper article, and it said "Idiot Savant wins again." It was about Mo because he's autistic, and he had scratched out the word "idiot" on the thing. And of course, "Idiot Savant" is just it's a term that they describe people that are autistic, but he saw it as being a negative term for describing him. Well, I said my publisher said, "Well, Todd, you got to put your picture of you on the cover." I'm like, "No, Mo's going on the cover." So the cover has Mo on it, and it's an illustration of Mo, and
Yeah.
kind of an idea of AI and Mo just having a conversation with me. And then the book obviously has illustrations of my swing of the single point swing in there. But so I'm dedicating the book to Mo because it really is anecdotally we scatter Mo throughout the text about the things he would talk about, and AI is deciphering his anecdotal way he talked about the golf swing and taught me the golf swing. So it
Yeah.
was really cool. It was really cool, fun project to dig into, and I've really enjoyed it. But it leads down the path of intelligent golfer. It's like, are you an intelligent golfer? Are we doing this the smart way? Is it logical? Is
Hmm.
what you're doing logical? And it could lead down the path of, are you using your mental game intelligently? The intelligent mental game, the intelligent short game, the intelligent putting. So it just comes down to do things the intelligent way. So that's where it's at. So it's fun. It's been a great
Oh
project.
yeah, that's awesome. Is it now? How are you going to deliver it? Is it a hardcover? Is it a
So
paperback? Is it
it's
a
soft
you know what
cover.
I mean? Yeah,
Soft cover. It's a 6x9, same size as your book. Yours is 6x9, right? Your book.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
interesting because I had to make the book big enough yet small enough, but I had to get a lot of illustrations in my book, so I had to make it big enough to get the
yeah,
illustrations that were enough space for illustrations, but at the same time, um, make it so it could fit on a shelf in a bookstore or on a shelf in an airport. So in a backpack, you don't want, my last book was like a table talk book, great, but people so big, people it's clumsy.
yeah.
So yeah, so 6x9, soft cover. It's like probably close to 200 pages. Um, it's funny, Rick Carlisle, of course, who's a long friend of mine. He wrote a nice testimony about the book. Todd Herman wrote a nice testimony about the book because
Oh yeah,
I wrote that, and then Kelly Slater wrote a nice testimonial for me for the book. So it's
that's
cool,
cool.
very cool. Yeah.
Is it available yet, or
Yeah,
coming soon, or what's
it's
the?
not, it's right now, it's in design. We should hopefully by end of September. And, I said it'll be done by July, but then I decided I wanted to illustrate it. I hired an illustrator and he wasn't giving me the detail I wanted. Because the golf swing is, to me, is a biomechanical thing. You don't want to you want to show the hand. You don't want to show, kind of looks like a hand, So I didn't want
Yeah,
to. The cover illustration was done by the
hand-ish.
artist. Yeah, it's handish. Yeah, it's that gray area. But the cover illustration, I had a illustrator do the cover of Mo, but I've done all the illustrations inside the book, which is called an etching. I took photographs and etched them into pretty technical photos. So
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah.
Somebody sent me a picture the other day of Mo, and he was at a clinic. Must have been maybe early to mid '90s, and it's sort of from like the back right side of Mo, like that angle, and you can see he's got driver in his hand. But one of the funny things is you can see in his trail side pocket, you see this huge bulge. And
A lot of money.
yeah, like a lot of money. I know you and Tim
A
would
lot of money.
say that he just would walk around with 30, 40,000 in cash or whatever,
I have video of it. I have video. I had dinner with Mo. This is the last time I had dinner with him. I'll tell a quick story. Mo story. We used to eat at this restaurant that had, upstairs was a bar and grill, and then there was a steakhouse right next door, and there was an Italian place. You go down one level, and there's an Italian place below,
sure.
and we'd
In
go there.
Titusville or somewhere near
Yeah,
there
it was
or
in Titusville.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was no, it was in Kitchener. It was in Kitchener, up in Canada. It's in
Oh,
Kitchener.
in Ontario. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we went in there and we'd go in there and we'd go, where do you want to eat, Mo? You want to eat bar and grill? You want to go steakhouse or whatever? And we all wanted to go to the steakhouse. So our whole group said, let's go to the steakhouse. So Mo was like, wants to go to the Italian. I said, okay, whatever, Mo. We'll go down, we'll get Italian. So we go down to eat Italian and Mo orders a steak. Yeah, typical. But as we're eating dinner, and I'd set the camera on the table, so we were eating dinner. I put the camera down. I said, and because I wanted to document how much Mo carried, money he carried with him. And I
Yeah.
said, I go, throw your money on the table. And he takes it out of his pocket and he throws it on the table, and it's probably $30,000 on the table. And it's just a pile of money sitting there. And I have it on video of this big pile of money. He used to carry about, I mean, it was thousands of dollars. He used to carry a wad of money in his pocket. I mean, that was his bank, was his right pocket. So no
Well,
credit cards. Never had a credit
yeah,
card.
and we were talking about peace, this concept of peace before. I know that there were certain areas maybe in Mo's life where maybe he wasn't at peace, but there was a lot of things where he was very much at peace, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just doing this thing because I want to do it, and I'm at peace with that." Is that a
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah. I think the world, Mo just that's one thing I loved about Mo is he's authentic, right? The authenticity of him. I
Yeah,
think we all
yeah,
appreciate authenticity. I think that's, if you look at what's happening with the world, it's going to come down to who's authentic. I mean, if you look at what AI and you look at what's happening with, I posted a video the other day. I posted the video of Trevino talking about Mo, which has been out there since, when was that? In the early '90s when Trevino
oh
was talking
yeah,
about Mo.
long time.
That video was posted, a clip of Trevino talking about Mo, and somebody goes, "How do we know that's not AI?" Right? No, I get it though. I totally
I
get
know.
it. That
Of course.
there's going to be we're blurring the lines right now to where we're not going to know if you said it, Paul, because I'm going to use your face and your lips, and I'm going to have AI generate you saying something you may not even say. So we're blurring the lines right now. So what we're going to be
Yeah.
doing in our world right now is we're going to be searching for authenticity. That's we're going to be on a. It may not be to this year, but 5 years from now, we're going to be like, is that real? Is that real? So we have blurred those
Yeah.
lines. So authenticity is a major thing. And so one thing I really love about Mo is how authentic he was. And we're gonna have much more appreciation for authenticity now going forward in our world, in our universe than we've ever had before. Is how authentic is this? And we're gonna be able, and our spidey senses are gonna start going. We're gonna be we're gonna be hyper tuned in to what's authentic or not. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think like his willingness to not wear a mask,
Mhm.
essentially, right? And maybe that's a way to say it, is like there's no mask with him, man. It's like, hey, take me or leave me. I'm okay with either. And I
Yeah.
think more of that is better.
Yeah. Yeah. The need to be liked. I mean, he didn't have that. Not at all. I mean, Um, yeah, no, that's authentic though, right? I mean, this is who I am. Accept me who I am, and I'll accept you the way you are, and we'll go on, and no, that was certainly probably why I became friends with him because I accepted him and he accepted me. Um, the other thing too is also is just he you mentioned earlier what these high performers, these successful people have in common, and it was certainly when it comes to a guy like Mo, he was not successful in every area of his life, right? I mean, you could look at a
Yeah.
lot of things that you'd be like, man, he was broke in the early 90s. He didn't have any money, right? So you could look at that, but you could also look at, okay, the, the passion that he had for hitting a golf ball and the dedication and discipline of course, practicing, because I mean, he had a lot of golf balls and to figure it out when a guy probably like Mo should never have really figured it out because he came from a poor family and had nothing, and golf was probably not in the cards for a guy like him on average. Um, I really have an appreciation for the fact that he stuck to something, and now we can look at that and go, "Wow, it was cool that
Yeah.
he accomplished what he did, but developed that discovery." Because I consider Mo's golf swing a discovery. I don't consider it a method. He discovered something that was innately, the theme behind the intelligent golf swing is the swing is already inside of you,
I've heard
and
you
then
say that. Yeah.
and we have to get it out of you with biomechanics. We have to put you in a position to get the swing out of you, which I 100% believe that we all have the ability. I mean, range of motion of your joints. We can talk the technical side of it, but we have. Let me ask you this question, and maybe I know we were going kind of long on this podcast, but
We're good.
but if I took you, if Paul, when you started swinging the golf club for the first time, and I said, okay, we're going to fast forward to today, which you swing the golf club really well today. So if we go, what happened in that period of time? So what happened was you learned you lived to put your body in a little different position.
Hmm.
And it may have been gradual here and there, but you've learned different positions of your body. You've learned how to stabilize parts of your body. And your body hasn't changed, by the way, has it? I mean, you haven't added an arm or a leg or a foot. So you have the
I'm
same
literally
body.
like the same weight that I was when I graduated high school.
So you have the
Literally.
same body, but you're able to do something now you couldn't do before. So what happened? Well, the only way it happened from where it was before to where it happened now is you adjusted the positions of your body, and then you
Hmm.
program those positions of your body, right? So
Right.
the swing's been in you the whole time. We just had to get it.
Very interesting.
We had to get it out. It's been in the whole
Yeah.
time. Now, if you don't do the right positions, you will never get it out. See, that's the thing. You could be worse today than you were 5 years ago, but it's because you didn't put yourself in the correct positions and you didn't get the swing out. So the swing's inside of you. If you do the right things, it'll come out. That's what it's all based on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can't wait for the book, The Intelligent Golfer. Is that what we're
Intelligent golf swing. Yep.
Intelligent Golf Swing? Oh my
The
gosh.
newsletter, by the way, if they want to hop on the newsletter, we'll put the links here. They can join the newsletter. We have a weekly newsletter called The Intelligent Golfer, which they can sign up, and I tell Mo stories and anecdotes about Mo, and it tells you people love the newsletter. So we've been signing people up for the newsletter as well. I think we have like 10,000 subscribers in the newsletter in just about 4 months. So
That's great.
Great.
No,
So
that's awesome. Well, the Graves golf community is tremendous, and it's really fun being a part of it. Can't wait to be out in Edmond in
yeah,
a few
when are you
weeks
coming
to,
back, by the way?
yeah, in September, third week in September, we've got a mental game school we're doing out there, which will be super fun.
Very good.
James and Tim and the team will, we've got 18 or 20 folks
Oh,
going to come out and
nice.
spend 2 days
Good.
on the course at the Performance Academy again. For the listeners and players out there,
I'll make
boy,
sure they speed the
get out
greens up
there.
for you. I'm gonna get them up to about a 13 when you're here. So
Yeah, we would love that. That'd be super fun.
I'll do it. I'll
That'd be
do it.
super fun. Yeah, good stuff. All right, Todd, always great to see you,
Thank you,
and
Paul.
I
Yeah,
look forward to connecting soon.
perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, that's a wrap with Todd Graves. Todd, wow, yeah, I never know where the conversation's going to lead with Todd. I can tell you one thing for sure: it's always going to be deep, it's always going to be interesting, and there's always going to be some great stories. So thank you, Todd, for joining us. We'll put a bunch of links below for some of the things that Todd has coming up with the Graves Golf Academy, as well as the new book that he has coming out very soon called The Intelligent Golf Swing. All right. So once again, I'm Paul Monahan. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Most Important Game podcast. Again, my mission is to help you perform at your best when it means the most. I like to say I can help you play better, struggle less, and enjoy the game, whatever game that is you're playing, a lot more. So if you want to learn more about me or the work that I do, you can visit my website. I'm at paulmonahan.com. You can find my book there, The Most Important Game. If you're watching on YouTube and you really like this conversation, certainly hit the like button and subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, please hit the follow button. As always, thanks Kevin Monahan for all the work behind the scenes to produce this podcast. Really appreciate it. And until next time, remember, don't give up. Stay in the game, no matter the game you're performing in. It is possible for you to play better, struggle less, and enjoy what you're doing a lot more. Till next time.